Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I just got done watching Annabelle Comes Home. With this, it's the third installment in the Annabelle franchise, but also technically the 7th movie in the Conjuring universe. This time around having a rather fun plot of Annabelle taken to the Warren Museum where she will start to bring to life all these different cases the Warrens have worked on as their young daughter Judy is being babysat. From here, we'll see a night of ghouls and gals going after the pair, all at the command of Annabelle. That's all pretty much there without giving me spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. Now with the Annabelle franchise, I always have a hard time calling it a killer doll movie because this doll never really does much. If I want to get technical and nerdy, it's basically just a demon who uses this doll as its mascot. Of course, me not enjoying the very first Annabelle, but me completely loving what they did with the second Annabelle thanks to David F. Sandberg, a movie that actually gave me nightmares as a grown man and had me completely terrified of Annabelle that I don't want to talk any more smack about her. Bringing us now to this third installment where I was intrigued by the story, having Annabelle bring to life all these characters from the Warren Museum, have the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren actually involved in this movie. I really thought nothing could have gone wrong, but I was actually disappointed with this installment. Let me go into some of the positives before I tell you why I wasn't all that thrilled with Annabelle Comes Home. Biggest positive of this movie is the leading role, McKenna Grace. This little girl, if you do not know, is in a whole bunch of stuff. I first saw her in the movie Gifted, which is phenomenal. Has Chris Evans in it, highly recommend. She's also played smaller roles in rather big projects. She was young Sabrina in Sabrina the Teenage Witch series on Netflix. She was also young Captain Marvel, and she's about to be the lead of the new Ghostbusters sequel that they're coming out with later next year. This girl is insanely talented and it shows in this movie because she holds her own. It's kind of nice seeing the layers of her character being the daughter of two people who do nothing but investigate demons and ghosts all their life. The fact that she isn't oblivious to what they do. She's also dealing with certain elements of people around her not wanting to be friends with her because her parents are being called fakers, or the fact that there might actually be ghosts in their house. This little subplot of people not wanting to go to her birthday party is so heartbreaking, man. Every time it's brought up in the film where she invites people and they just don't want to go because of the haunted house, I honestly want to tear up because of how bad I felt for her. But even then, it's not a character you just feel sorry for. She's also very intelligent and has picked up a few things along the way in watching her parents go after demons and ghosts. The added bonus of Ed and Lorraine Warren in this movie, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. While their time in this film is extremely limited, don't expect to see them a whole lot, mainly just in the beginning. It's still great to have them involved in this project because they bring their A game. And the character of Ed Warren, played by Patrick Wilson, is sort of a goofy dad in here, and I love it. The two babysitting actresses, while I thought they did a fine job on their own, the one I was not all the way pleased with up until the end of the film was a character by the name of Daniela. Now, right off the bat, a lot through this movie, you don't like her character, and that is probably written on purpose, but when the movie goes into the layers of why she's doing the things she's doing, and then the emotional impact they give to her by the end of the film had me completely invested into what was going on with her and turned me around to her character. Unfortunately, that is where my positives end with the film because everything else about this is pretty generic and so done before, and is a movie that warrants the question of, do we really want more Conjuring spin-offs? Can we just stick to the regular Conjuring universe? As of right now, we only have one Conjuring spin-off that is worthy of being in the Conjuring universe, and that's Annabelle Creation to me, the second Annabelle. The Nun, the first Annabelle, this Annabelle, La Llorona are all movies that just mooch off the Conjuring name and try to pass off as scary movies, but really they could all be titled Jump Scare the Movie. The director of this film, Gary DeBerman, now this was his first directorial debut, and unfortunately it kind of shows. He has not mastered how to set up a creative scare scene, because a lot of the times when they're building up a jump scare or a horrifying moment in this movie, it's done so dull and generic, you're kind of bored by it. Because it's a lot of moments of something moving and then a character going for like long periods of time. I honestly want someone to do a supercut of every time someone in the movie is just I bet it would be like 40% of this movie. And also a shame that this was the movie where it was haunted night at the museum, creatures coming to life, and all of them were just not that fun and fascinating. So many of these were given just one-liners of this is their origin and it's just a setup so they can show up later in the movie to scare you. Not much love was given to them, and you can honestly feel like this movie is just trying to set up so many different spin-offs of I hope the audience loves all these guys because they're getting their own movie. You also have the fact that I can't believe it, I had to look it up after this movie was over, that it's rated R. Nothing in this movie, to me, warrants the R rating in this film. I really thought when the movie ended, I was like, I didn't know this movie went PG-13. I thought all the other Annabelles were rated R, and come to find out, this is rated R for just terrifying scenes, which I think that's a BS reason to have a movie be rated R, but I don't think that's their fault. Maybe they were going for PG-13 and they were like, look, your movie just comes off a little too scary, so we're gonna put it as rated R, even though this film is not scary. And the last big negative that might make it fun to some individuals, there are some kooky, quirky characters in this movie, like the love interest, the male in this movie. The character's name throughout the film is Bob's Got Balls. That is not a joke. They literally call him Bob's Got Balls all throughout this film. And he is your cliche, dorky kid in love who also just happens to be good looking. So anything clumsy or quirky he does just comes off charming. And honestly, it got tiring very fast. At first I was like, oh, he's so cute. He should definitely end up with her. To then it's like, bro, you're getting hard to watch. I'm really nitpicking at this movie, and I can honestly admit that, but that's just because the second Annabelle was just so nicely done that I was expecting something on the same level here. And while I'll say this movie is better than the first Annabelle, and it falls in between the second one, this one, and then the first Annabelle, I think this is probably the last we'll see of her because I don't see how they can keep moving on with this character. Alright, so for Annabelle Comes Home, I'm gonna give action 2 stars. There are definitely a lot of moments where certain demons and ghosts are coming out for them, but the scenes are just so slow-paced and dull that it's not all that exciting. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give 1.5 star to. There are a lot of goofy, silly moments in this movie that take away from the film being serious, gives it more of a campy vibe, but some people might find that fun. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars, and it gets that half star for the emotional element they added to one of these characters that actually had me attached to them. Pair that up with the complex layers of the little daughter in this movie, Judy. Yeah, they did a good job there. Horror in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars, but that's really just because of jump scares galore. This movie is nothing but jump scares. There's nothing really in here that gets you scared out of shock value other than the movie just rising up the music and scaring you. And suspense to the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. There is some moments of well done suspense. It's built up very generic where you're just like, I know what's gonna happen. Can we just get to it? Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C-. For Annabelle Comes Home, I do think this is one you can wait to rent at home.
Play the movie. Yeah, play.
That is just my opinion, guys. If you found the first Annabelle to be really good, fun, a great horror movie, then you will for sure like this one. But if you're expecting something like Annabelle Creations or anything close to the main Conjuring movies, this ain't it, chief. Be sure to leave me your thoughts down below, what you thought of this movie. Very curious to see what you guys will say. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.